Imagine technologies that are, well, fundamentally reshaping the map of global power. Not just at sea, not just in the air, but from really unexpected places on land.
It sounds like something out of a novel, doesn't it?
It really does. But it's actually happening, and it's changing how defense strategies are, adapting to today's challenges.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what we're diving into today. The U.S. Army's new Typhon land missile system.
Right, also known as the mid-range capability, or MRC.
That's the one.
So our mission here for you is to really unpack this. What is this system? Why was its first operational use recently such a huge milestone?
And maybe most importantly, how is it shaking up the whole strategic landscape? Global security, alliances, the works.
Exactly. Think of this as your shortcut to understanding some major shifts in international relations. We want to give you those aha moments about how militaries are innovating right now.
Okay, so let's start with the basics. What is Typhon?
Good place to start.
It's essentially a mobile, land-based missile launcher. Lockheed Martin developed it. Officially, it's the mid-range capability, MRC.
You might also hear Strategic Mid-Range Fire System, SMRF.
Yeah, SMRF, that's another term for it. Its purpose really gets to the heart of a major strategic issue.
Which was?
Well, this system came about because it was the Army's #1 modernization priority under what they call long-range precision fires, or LRPF.
LRPF, right.
The goal was to fix a big problem. U.S. forces were finding themselves, frankly, outgunned and outranged by competitors like China and Russia.
So Typhon is meant to bridge a gap.
Precisely. It fits right in between the shorter-range precision strike missiles, that's PRSM, and the much longer-range hypersonic systems the Army's also working on. It plugs that critical middle ground.
Okay, so what gives it its punch? What's under the hood, so to speak?
The core is a really versatile vertical launch system. It's the Mk-70 Mod 1 payload delivery system.
Okay.
And the clever part is what it can launch. It uses missiles you normally associate with ships. First up is the Standard Missile 6, the SM-6.
So taking a Navy missile, the SM-6, and launching it from land, what's the big deal there? What does that let the Army do?
That's key. The SM-6, which Raytheon makes, is what they call dual capability. Meaning it can hit targets in the air and targets on the surface, like ships.
Okay, so anti-air and anti-ship from a truck.
Basically, yes. And it's fast. Mach 3.5 makes it incredibly hard to start.
Wow. And the range?
Officially, over 370 kilometers. Some sources hint it might even be up to 600 kilometers.
So with that reach, it can go after, what, cruise missiles, planes?
Cruise missiles, aircraft, even ballistic missiles in their final phase. And importantly, surface ships. That's a big one for a land-based system.
And I heard it's not just the SM-6. There's talk of Tomahawks, too.
That's right. It can also integrate Tomahawk cruise missiles,
which are famous for precision land attack.
Exactly. And they have a much longer reach, up to 2,500 kilometers.
So SM-6 for shorter, faster strikes, maybe against ships or air threats, and Tomahawk for hitting targets deep inland.
You got it. That dual capability gives Typhon a strike range anywhere from about 500 up to maybe 1,800 kilometers. Just depends on the missile you load.
That's some serious flexibility.
Yeah.
But the range is only part of the story, isn't it? I keep hearing about its mobility.
Oh, absolutely. The mobility is arguably the real game changer here. The sources call it a scalable and rapidly deployable launcher platform.
Meaning it can pack up and move quickly.
Very quickly. And they proved it. Last November 2024, they tested its sea transportability, loaded a whole Typhon battery onto a civilian ship, the Seacor Lee, out of Tacoma, Washington.
So they can ship it anywhere, basically. Set it up in remote spots.
That's the idea, deployable from austere locations. It gives it a massive strategic footprint. You can put this threat almost anywhere on land that has access, however minimal.
Okay, that mobility is huge, and this capability was just put to the test operationally, right? The big event.
Yes, the landmark event, July 16th, 2025. So very recently. The Army's 3rd Multi-Domain Task Force, the 3MDTF, they conducted the first ever live fire of Typhon outside the U.S. mainland.
And where did this happen?
In Australia, the Northern Territory, during exercise Talisman Sabre 25.
The Talisman Sabre, okay. And the result?
A direct hit. They launched an SM-6 from the Typhon system on land, and it successfully struck and sank a designated target ship out at sea.
Wow. So proof of concept, live fire.
Exactly. But it was way more than just proving the tech worked. The sources are clear. This confirmed the operational viability of land-based precision maritime strike capability.
Right, it wasn't just a test, it was showing it works in a realistic operational setting.
And demonstrating joint capability, too. It was a historic demonstration of combined targeting and joint command and control interoperability between U.S. and Australian forces.
Okay, working together. And significant geographically, too.
Definitely. First time an MRC system like Typhon has been fired west of the international dateline, a clear signal in the Indo-Pacific region.
So let's unpack that signal. This wasn't just about sinking a ship. It's sending a message strategically. What does this mean for, say, potential adversaries?
Well, the sources frame it as more than a technical validation. It's a strategic signal.
Okay.
A signal that land forces, Army units, are now fully integrated into the maritime kill chain. That fundamentally reshapes the battlefield calculus, especially in contested areas like the South China Sea. Adversaries now have to worry about threats from land hitting their ships.
So how does this tackle those A2AD strategies we hear about? Anti-accessoria denial.
It's a direct counter. A2AD, used by China and Russia, relies on layers of missiles to keep U.S. forces out. Typhon punches through that by creating multiple dilemmas. An adversary now has to defend against threats from the sea, from the air, and from unpredictable locations on land. It forces them to spread their defenses thin, track threats coming from new angles. It complicates their whole defensive plan.
So it's not just about offense, it's about disrupting the enemy's defense.
Exactly. And it changes the whole concept of sea denial.
How do you mean? Sea denial used to be the Navy's job, right? Blocking enemy ships.
Traditionally, yes. But now, with Typhon, Army units on land can actively do sea denial. They become active participants in the maritime kill chain.
Huh. Army contributing to sea control. That is a shift.
A big one. And especially critical, the sources say, in the Indo-Pacific.
Why there specifically?
Because of the vast maritime distances, the contested choke points like straits, and frankly, the growing presence of rival naval power, particularly from China.
So Typhon lets the Army help the Navy and Air Force control those key sea lanes.
Precisely. It fits right into the Army's big picture concept, multi-domain operations, MDO.
And the joint version, JDO.
Right, joint all-domain operations. It's all about integrating effects across land, sea, air, space, cyber, linking the best sensor to the best shooter, regardless of which service owns it. Typhon is a perfect example of that integrated approach.
Okay, so the tech is impressive, the strategy is shifting. What about putting it into practice? Where is this system actually showing up?
We're already seeing it. Back in April 2024, Typhon batteries from the first multi-domain task force deployed overseas for the first time.
Where to?
The Philippines, for exercises like Salaknib and Balikatan.
The Philippines? That's strategically vital, isn't it, given the geography there?
Hugely vital. From northern Luzon, where they were exercising, Typhon's missiles, depending on which ones are used, of course, can potentially cover the entire Luzon Strait.
The strait between Taiwan and the Philippines.
That's the one. And potentially reach the Chinese coast and PLA bases in the South China Sea.
That's quite a statement. And the Philippines is interested in buying it too.
They've announced plans to acquire it, yes. Shows a real desire for closer security ties, even though it apparently drew China's ire, as the sources put it.
Okay, so a big move in the Pacific. What about elsewhere? Europe.
Definitely interest in Europe. Germany has been very public about wanting Typhon.
Why Germany?
They want to modernize their own long-range fires and really boost NATO's deterrence against Russia's missile capabilities. They actually submitted a purchase request just recently, July 15th, 2025.
So Germany's buying in. Any plans for U.S. deployments there?
Episodic deployments are planned for Germany starting in 2026, so it adds another layer to deterrence in Europe.
And Japan. Any talk there?
There have been discussions, yes, about potentially deploying a multi-domain task force, which would include Typhon, to Japan as well, another sign of strategic repositioning in the Indo-Pacific.
So these deployments, the interest from allies like the Philippines and Germany, it seems like Typhon is also about strengthening alliances.
Absolutely. The sources say it fosters important alliances by enhancing defense. It reassures allies and partners that the U.S. is committed.
And sends a message to adversaries at the same time.
A very clear signal of resolve, yes. It's not just about the missiles. It's about building partnerships around shared security needs and these new capabilities.
So wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway here? What does Typhon really represent?
I think it represents a really pivotal shift. It's transforming the Army's role, giving it a serious part to play in global power projection and deterrence, especially in the maritime world.
Right. It pulls land power directly into sea control in a way we haven't really seen before.
Exactly. Enhancing deterrence, strengthening alliances, it's a major development.
It really makes you think. As land-based systems like Typhon increasingly project power into what we used to think of as purely maritime spaces, consider this. How does this ongoing convergence, this blurring of lines between land and sea power, redefine military geography itself? And what does that mean for the global balance of power down the road?
That's a deep question. It could reshape global security for decades.
Definitely something to keep an eye on.